Regarding the email that was sent to me,
Posed by the defense against the evidence adduced by the state. And after careful analysis of the rebuttal evidence of accused number 1 and 2 and the cross-examination interposed by the state, and after careful analysis of the heads of argument by all the parties concerned and the verbal submissions made by all the counsels in this court, I have dealt, not like this magistrate did, I've dealt with all the evidence relating to whether the said alleged confessions were made freely and voluntarily in the sound and sober senses of the deponents without any force or coercion. It's reached the following conclusion. 1, it rules that the confession made by accused number 1 was made freely and voluntarily without any coercion when accused number 1 was in his firm, sound, and sober senses. 2, the confession made by accused number 2 in respect of the said confession being taken by Mrs. Ronje, the magistrate, the court rules that it was made freely and voluntarily without any coercion when accused number 2 was in his full and sober senses. And also the confession made before Colonel Rapudi was also made by accused number 1, 2. Freely and voluntarily without any coercion when he was in his sound and sober senses.
The trial into the murder of former Bafana Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Mewa kicked off again on Monday, the 15th of April. After a 3-week recess, the Pretoria High Court turned its attention to state-led crucial evidence on the recovery of cell phones from 2 of the accused in prison. The devices were found while the accused were in custody in 2020 and 2021 respectively.
Then ngavula abafana babo 3 not angisho ngabafana bangibedelela kodwa sibabiza ukuthi abafana ngoba all ama-mail. Ngase ngithi ke lona engangiphethe camera ngase ngithi letha i-cell phone.
And who's this person that you were talking to?
Ulwazi angiphethe igama likaFiso kuhle eNtuli.
Is he in court?
Yeah, ukhona.
Yes, can you?
Ngangilapha egcineni.
It's accused 1 up to 5.
Oh, number 5.
Yes. You may proceed.
Ngase ngithi akanginikeze i-cell phone. Akazange ngihluphe wanginikeza i-cell phone. Ngase ngimtshela ukuthi i-phone ngiyayithatha ngoba avumelekile ukuyiphatha.
Where was this phone?
Yayi lapha angipha basobelele sembhedeni. Wayikhipha lapha embhedeni lapha ayile khona nginikeza. Ngase ngivala i-cell ngabuyela ngenyuka ngaye office. Ngase ngiba nengxoxo ke nomphathi ukuthi le ndaba yale cell phone ayingihlali kahle ngoba angazi ukuthi bekukhulunywani ngoba kwakhona abantu ababezophenya lapha ngase ngithi mhlambe ukuze kufuna ngathi kufuna nginikeza bona ukuze mhlambe mabe kukhona abakutholayo ongaba mhlambe kusifake mhlambe ukuthi mhlambe iziboshwa zibaleke mabe kuthola basinikeze ukuze nami ngiqinise kakhulu ezokuphepha ngaphakathi.
Yebo.
Ngase nginikeza ke abaphenyi bayifake eplastikini. Basike elevalekayo bayisila sike basebethi bazohamba nayo ke.
Now if you say you gave it to the investigators, who are you referring?
Ngikhuluma Colonel Gininda nabanye kayihamba nabo.
Do you remember whom he was?
Mangikhumbula ngahle kwakhona omunye kuthiwa Mohani.
What type of phone was this?
Imnyama ibhalwe ukuthi style.
Now, did you personally know accused number 5 before this incident?
Ngiyamazi.
Have you had any interactions with him there?
Not ukuthi ukuhlanganisa ngokomsebenzi wami. Umboshwa mayifika ejele.
Yes.
Kufuneka mina njengomphathi ngimemukele ngimchazele ukuthi la kusetshenzwa kanjani usuku lokuvakasha kulunini isikhalo kusetshenziswa kanjani mawufuna ukubona umphathi lokho kungenza ukuthi ababoshwa abaningi thola ukuthi ngazi amagama abo naye ukuthi makukhuluma ngobani ngisuke ngazi ukuthi ubani umuntu ubu.
Now, who is Sibusiso Yaga? He's the then head of Kalagabusha prison in Empangeni in KwaZulu-Natal. It's the state's case that accused number 5, Sfisoguhle Ntuli, was found with a cell phone while detained in the same prison in August 2020. The state has also led evidence that accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, was found with a phone in February 2021 at a Pretoria police station where he'd been detained. But the defense has denied the evidence by state witness Sibusiso Yaga.
Lokho mina in my information.
And the person who was with you when you were searching them, when they were holding their hands up along the wall, recovered the cell phone next to the bed of Mr. Msawenkosi Nzimande.
Akulona iqiniso ke.
Did you obtain any statement from Mr. Msawenkosi Nzimande explaining as to where the cell phone was recovered from this room that you searched?
Singekudinga ukuthi statement kundimande because angitholanga lutho kuyo.
Were you alone as an official at that time when you were conducting the search?
Ngangingedwa ngoba kwaku late icon ma official ayisebenza lapho leso sikhathi leso. Sasu 3.
Okay, what were the names of those 3? Of the other 2 if you were the third one?
Angisakhumbuli kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi mase sifune information ingatholakala.
Did they make any statements regarding the recovery of this cell phone in this particular room, section B, 15B?
No, yimi nge statement because yimi ngathatha ifoni.
When did you make the statement you have referred to this court?
Ngasenza ngo-2023 if I recall after uPreka yageninda ayithi uyasicela.
Yeah, the dates in which you made the statement.
Ngasenza 23/08.
That is 30 August 2023.
Yeah.
Which is 3 years after the incident. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Why didn't you make the statement immediately after the incident when the incident was still fresh in your mind?
Angithi ifoni ngayinikeza abapheni. Mabe ngafika uzofaka statement kimi. Hayi ukuthi ngalokho kwakusho ukuthi information seyilokho seyindala. Information seyikhona ngoba ngisaphila ngisekho.
In that statement of yours that we have referred this court to, did you write down the name of the other officials who were with you when you were conducting the search?
No, abhaliwe amagama lapho ngangiphendula imibuzo ayifuna umpheni ukuthi ngibhale statement. Mangaba ayifuna amagama ngizowathola ngumnikezi.
Did you write down the IME number or the serial number of the cell phone that you handed to them? By them I mean the investigating team.
Angithi le information is IM number azange ngivule ifoni. Kodwa i-serial number lena nganikezwa ulokhuzana uPreka ayiseplastikini yiyo lena ngayisebenzisayo.
The serial number you mentioned there is the sealback number.
That's correct.
How then can you prove before this court that it was the same cell phone number that you recovered from this room at Kalagabusha, the cell phone that you handed over to the police?
Yavala phambi kwami ngikholwa ukuthi amaphoyisa akhona ayengakwenza ngoba ayivala ayisila phambi kwami aqhubeka nayo. Angikholwa ukuthi amaphoyisa ayenza umsebenzi angakwenza ukuthi akusefoni because it was a black style and yiyo le sealed.
Accused number 2 denies that he was found in possession of a cell phone in the cells in Valeria. Otherwise, he would have long alerted his family that he had been arrested and where he's being held.
Akitselo nga soma fetulele mara ntelo nnete gore cell phone ona re fumane ka mo disele.
And ironically, the person who received that call to say accused number 2 is sitting with a cell phone in the cells is not here to tell about that story.
Kamadimari horo itlan sala ka gore monna modimo ithobeletse boroko bo bogolo ka se motsoshela mo itshwareke le nna ke na fetole ewe.
Accused number 2 will also deny that that cell phone was found in him and it was sealed in the forensic bag in his presence.
Akmakale karo aona lo tsa dumelang ka moka mara cell phone re ikreile ka mo cell phone ka mo seleng ka ba ka ilokela mo ka isila mo pela ka.
Both defense lawyers are slamming the evidence. The state is pushing for a conviction of the accused for the Meiwa family.
And he goes on to say It belongs to Sifo Kuhle. Then it continues on page 76, proceedings of 27 July 2023, line 9. Says the start date of the call was 2 August 2014, and the time was 22:40, and the duration of the call was 110 seconds, close to 2 minutes. What is your comment regarding that number?
Thank you, my lord. The number is found on the XTS, so some other time accused 5 must have given the number up on as a reference on the credit report. So it's exactly the same number that was still there.
The state's web of links doesn't just end there. Another number allegedly belonging to Fiso Guhlentuli is right at the center of the links and alleged to have contacted all the other accused. This number, analyzed by police officer Gideon Gous, was allegedly saved in accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi's SIM card as Lungisani. But the defense challenged this.
Now, my instructions from accused number 2 is that he does indeed know this Lungisani person. And that Lungisani person is not accused number 5.
I can't comment on that. That's according to the database I received, and that's the analysis I've done.
Lungisani is not accused number 5, and the number attributed there that does not belong to accused number 5. He instructs me as follows, that they are allowed to make calls from the public phones at prison where he is accommodated, and he does speak to this person on this number on weekends when he's allowed to phone.
In respect of accused Mr. Mapisa and Mr. Ntuli, that's accused number 4 and 5, he says he knew them from a long time ago. They were communicating.
The start of the new week saw one of the investigators take the stand again. Sergeant Batumukhola arrested accused number 1 Muzi Sibia back in May 2020 for an unrelated case while investigations into Meiwa's murder were underway. During cross-examination, the defense got to place an alternative version to what the state has been advancing in court. Sibia, through his lawyer Tulani Mgomezulu, says Meiwa was shot by Zandi Kumalo's then-boyfriend Longwe Twala. He argues that the state's case was cooked to protect someone else.
According to the evidence that I have as a defense, he was shot when he was separating Longwe and Zandi, who were fighting. Longwe, when he came to Kelly Kumalo's house, he was drunk. He was in possession of a 38 special revolver. According to my witnesses, there were 3 shots that were fired, and there were 3 people that were injured as a result. Senzo was shot dead. Longwe shot himself on the leg in his ankle, and the other shot is the one that was fired on the floor. As a result, Zandi was injured. Do you have knowledge of it?
My lord, I do not have knowledge of what the council is putting in this court.
My lord, with the leave of the court, I just want to establish, but I know he is not Sifiso Meiwa, who cannot or will not be the witness of the state. I want to ascertain from my colleague whether he wants to use Sifiso Meiwa in the state case.
Mr. Baloyi, you say you have got a mystery witness.
I think my learned friend can just conduct his cross-examination. We have signaled our intention, my lord, that when the state case is closed, all the witnesses who would not have been called will be made available to the defense. I think it's for my friend now to put whatever version he wants to the witness.
You will remember that this case has 2 dockets. The one before court, Phosphorus Cas 636 and Phosphorus Cas 375. Docket 375 lists all the people who were in the house as suspects in the murder of Meiwa and was investigated by Lieutenant Colonel Joyce Buthelezi and Mishak Makubo. No one has been charged and it is not before any court. Now, in support of this version, Mgomezulu pulled a statement from docket 375, deposed by Senzo Meiwa's brother Sfiso Meiwa. The statement immediately raised questions about the Commissioner of Oath as the name isn't reflected on it. In it, Meiwa talks about alleged utterances made by chairman of Orlando Pirates Football Club and renowned businessman Dr. Ivan Khoza.
I would like to state that Mr. Evan Khoza told me that Senzo Meiwa, my brother, was not shot by robbers. These were the actual words of Mr. Evan Khoza. There were no intruders that were shot that entered the house. Senzo was shot by mistake. There was a fight between Uzandi and her boyfriend. This means that Senzo was never shot by the robbers, but he was shot by mistake, as there was a fight between Zandi and her boyfriend. I would like this matter to be investigated as to who told Mr. Evan Khoza to be established as to who told Mr. Khoza this, as to what exactly happened in the house where my brother was killed. That is all I wish to state. I know and understand the contents of this statement. I have no objection in taking the prescribed oath. I consider the prescribed oath to be binding on my conscience.
Thank you, Madam.
As a quick please, my lord, in all fairness to Mr. Khoza, he has submitted a statement refuting these allegations. That statement was disclosed to the defense. I think it's improper, my lord, for my learned friend to put a version here before court that he knows has been refuted by the person to whom it's being attributed.
May I reply, my lord, by saying, I had a discussion with my colleague, Mr. Baloi, and asked him about the outstanding witnesses so that we can properly prepare. There are certain witnesses that were given by Mr. Baloi, but he did not mention Dr. Ivan Khoza amongst the witnesses that he is intending to call. I was told that he intends to call General Lishabane, whom we did not use during trial within a trial. I was told that he's going to call Kwabeni, continuation of the evidence of the ballistic, Mr. Mangena, another ballistic, but he never mentioned about Dr. Khoza.
No, but
It's
that's
my
not-
submission
no.
that
I mean, now you're confusing the picture. This is a simple assertion made by the prosecutor, Mr. Baloi.
yes,
He says what is contained in that statement
yes,
of Mr. Sefiso,
yes,
that's the brother to the late
sense of me,
Senzo,
yes,
has been refuted by
yes.
the very Mr. Ivan Khoza.
Correct.
That's what he's saying.
That's not
He
the
says
only,
he's got a statement.
that's not the
contradicting
only way to
all of
refute.
it. So that's what we're busy with. Okay.
But
So
I
you may
think
continue.
But the state says this amounts to triple hearsay and that Khoza disputed the contents of the statement. The version is not the only aspect that was challenged. The kind of gun used to take Meiwa's life also came into question.
I'm putting to you as per my instruction and as per what I've gathered from the statements of these witnesses, that the firearm that killed Senzo Meiwa was not a 9mm, was a revolver special.
Kelly Kumalo remains one of the big talking points in this case. Mohola also confirmed that the state believes she is the mastermind behind Meiwa's murder. But accused number 3, Mtobisi Mncube, says he does.
The rand was withdrawn and balance 708 and 42. Posting date 9 October 2014. Transaction date 9 October 2014. ATM cash withdrawal fee 460, balance 703 and 82. 9 October 2014. Posting date 9 October 2014. Transaction date SMS notification fee 1 notification, 40 cents, balance 703 and 42 cents. 10 October 2014, posting date, transaction date 10 October 2014, prepaid purchase MTN minus 12, and then the balance 691.42. 11 October 2014, posting date, transaction date 11 October 2014, ATM cash withdrawal, ATM, Phosphorus Naledi, Phosphorus 097A. Amount of 100 rand was withdrawn, balance 591.42.
Sibiya previously told the court that he never set foot in Gauteng in 2014. In fact, he returned to KwaZulu-Natal in 2013 after losing his job and only came back in 2015. This blow to his alibi is not the first. The state previously led evidence that showed that he sat for his learner's license test twice in Johannesburg in 2014. Despite this, the defense remains steadfast that all this evidence was cooked and that the person who killed Senzo Meyiwa isn't in court. The state continues with its case.